Hey X-Dancers, Anthony and Rose. We got some fun stuff for you guys today. Today we are doing some dips and tricks that you can use in any one of the country dances, so stick around.
And I promise that I will stand by you forever. I can't get you out of my mind. I will follow you wherever.
Guys, we just wanted to take a second and say how much we appreciate you guys being here and supporting the channel. Now, we know we haven't been putting out much content here on YouTube lately, but we have been producing so much content since the shutdown happened. We've been working on how to bridge the gap between taking private one-on-one lessons and an instructional video. That is called X-Dance, and that is what we've been working on lately. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, you're gonna notice this little button down here and it says subscribe. Now, if you click that button, then you become an X-Dancer, and then you'll know when all the awesome stuff happens here on the channel. We're gonna demonstrate what we're gonna teach, and then we'll teach you. All right, guys, this one is called the Cuddle Drop. This is a super fun one. Anybody can do this. It is not as complicated as it looks, all right? We're gonna demonstrate it for you. So any dance that we're in a position where we're out like this, we can roll her in, and then we do the drop way down low, pull her back up, and then we can lead her into whatever it is we're gonna do next. Okay, we're gonna break that down for you. All right, guys, to start this, we just need the follower on the right side. For you, I know you're looking at us, it's on the left, but if we're facing the other way, she needs to be on his right side. Now, I have my right hand and her left hand, and the first thing that's gonna happen is I'm gonna take this hand down around her waist and roll her up into this cuddle position and take that opposite hand. Let me show you what that looks like close up. All right, so I have my right hand. I'm just gonna roll her in, and then I'm gonna take that opposite hand. Now, if you notice, my hand actually goes down around her waist, so I'm keeping this one low and just kind of curving it around her back until I get into this patty cake hold. Let me show you that from the other side. So if you watch my right hand, it just kind of rolls around her back until I get her into that position. Leaders, all you're really doing is just kind of standing there. I mean, she's on this side, we're gonna bring her to us and in front of us, okay? So I'm taking that hand down, and I'm gonna get into this position where I have kind of this patty cake hold. This hand being up like this is super important because it kind of stops that momentum. All right, now she is forward on her right foot, and what's gonna happen is now I'm gonna take this hand back over her head, and I'm gonna lower her down. Now, it's really important when we get into this position that I've got some nice good center, like her weight is actually positioned in front of me and not off to the side, okay? So you really have to manage the spaces. So if the leader does anything, he just has to adjust his placement of where he is in relation to where I anticipate her to be. Now, if I do that and she ends up out here, this is gonna be really hard. Now, a lot of people say, oh, you know, so it's weight, it's, you know, well, I'm a big girl, you know, whatever that is. None of that stuff really matters when you have the right leverage. If she's here, I can support her weight. If she's here or here out in front, I can't. So that positioning really, really matters, okay? So when I bring her in, I have to be just a little bit positioned so that my head is on this side of her because she is gonna move that way just a little bit. Now, if she's already here, done for, it's not gonna work. So if she's in this position, now as she goes down, I can support that weight so that her arms end up in front of me and close to me. Then I can help her come up, pull her back into that same position, and do whatever it is I'm gonna do next. Let me show you that from a close up. So she rolls in, I take that hand, and it's gonna stop her at this point. This is kind of like your stop sign, please stop, right? Now from here, this hand comes over top. It doesn't go high over her head, but it does come over top. And then as I lower her down, the hands go here, and then I actually lower her down.
All right, followers, your part, okay? He's talking a lot about his part, but it is our responsibility to hold our own weight, and there's some key things that make it a little bit easier. Yeah, he appreciates that. So I'm gonna have Anthony send me through. All right, he's gonna catch here. You're gonna have all your weight on your right foot, and we'll talk more about that in a minute, but what you're gonna really focus on is sending that left foot through, all right? Sending that leg through, I want you to immediately start thinking about sending those hips up as he lowers the arm. And you're kind of in this rainbow position, so go ahead and pull me up. And now we're gonna talk more about the footwork.
So for her footwork, she's gonna roll in until she finishes forward on her right foot. Now, all of her weight should be on her right foot, and it's gonna stay on her right foot as we do the drop. Now, you'll notice she pulls her feet together and she sends that left foot through so that she's actually still on her right foot the entire time. Guys, let's talk about the motion of this and where the momentum is going. The momentum should feel like it's going down, not to the side, not forward. Those things are gonna throw you off balance. Yeah. So when I pull her in, she's actually gonna roll in to where she's almost right in front of me. I'm still just a little bit past her, but I'm gonna rotate her and then it's gonna lower downwards. So I rotate her and then I send her downwards this way. Now, if on the other hand, I send her forward and it starts leaning out that way, that's when we're gonna get into trouble. Okay, so don't do that. Now, the space between you guys, the closer she can get to your center, the more balance you're going to have. So we need the momentum to actually happen here, downwards, right in front of us, not too far out, not too far that way. It's actually just lowering her up. Now, when you bring her up, it actually comes up first and then rotates. So I can't pull her up while I'm rotating her out, okay? So when I pull her in, she's here, I'm rotating her straight downwards, and when I pull her upwards, it comes up and then rotates, and then we can lead whatever we want next. So think about doing this one piece at a time. So as you practice this, roll her in, make sure you're in the right position, make sure that when she comes in, that we have this position where our face is just a little bit in front of hers, because now you got more wiggle room to go, right? Then turn, that's the next step. Then we lower back, leaders. If you need to take a step, that's totally fine, so you can get into this position. Pull her straight up, then rotate, and then send her out. Okay, next I want to show you guys some different ways to get into that position from one dance to the next. Guys, getting into this is pretty easy. We're just going to give you a demonstration of some different ways to get into it from the different dances. Basically, anytime we can go from here and get her into this position in any dance, we can do this. All right, guys, if we're dancing two-step, it's just be any pattern where we lead her into this cuddle or wrap position, and then we can take her down into it. The only thing to know about two-step is everything needs to continue to move that way. So once we bring her up, then we would just continue her moving forward to lead something else. All right, same idea for West Coast swing. I just have to get my right hand to her left hand. Now, if I've done my anchor step and I've got that connection, I will walk her forward twice, roll her in, and then I can take her into that drop. All right, guys, country swing, pretty easy one. We're just gonna do our basic country swing. We can do whichever turn it is we wanna do. And then from that point, we just lead her out, roll her in, and do the dip. Guys, we got a couple more cool tricks to teach you guys today, but before we do, right now, stop what you're doing and go to xdance.com. Now, you have never ever seen anything like that before. We're so excited to share that with you guys. We've been working so hard on it for about a year, and since we've been stuck inside for the last few weeks, we've worked so hard on it. We want to give you guys a couple weeks to try the entire platform for free. Just try it for free. If you hate it, you can cancel anytime. If you love it, obviously you can keep it. We know that you will, but go to xdance.com. Okay, next trick. All right, guys, this next one is something we have been asked for a lot. We did this little post on Instagram, I think it was, where we showed this little no-handed dip thing, and a lot of people reached out to us in private messages and said, hey, can you teach me that? Do you have any videos on that? Well, now we have a video on that, so we're gonna demonstrate it, and then we're gonna break it down. All right, guys, so for this one, I'm gonna start right hand to right hand. She's still on the same side as the other one. I'm gonna give her a couple turns, and then at some point, I'm gonna turn, and then we do this dip with no arms. So this is not as complicated as it looks. It's kind of an illusion, okay? It looks like there's a lot going on, especially if you watch this super fast, but it's not as difficult as it looks. So we're gonna break this down piece by piece, but the first thing we have to know is my right hand goes to her right hand. Now, how many turns you lead her in, that's up to you, but for the most part, I could do this without a turn. I just take that once over her head, and then I begin to rotate to my left. She's turning to her left, I'm gonna turn to my left, and as I turn to my left, I'm gonna place her hand on my rib cage. I place that hand on the rib cage, and then I slip my leg underneath, and now she's got her own little brace that she's using here, okay? So she is basically supporting her own weight, and I give her a little shelf. There's a lot of different things, little pieces that we've got to break down. First of all, I want to show you that hand connection. So with the hand comes over the head, and as it does, I begin to bring it down. But watch what I do with this hand. I'm basically just going to place it on my rib cage. I place it on the rib cage, and then as I roll into her, I'm going to release that hand, and she's going to hold on for herself. Guys, we're gonna get to the footwork and the dip and all that stuff, but for the most part, right now, we really have to focus on when that hand lands on my ribcage and when I'm turning, okay? So I take that hand overhead. I have not rotated yet, but as soon as that hand starts to rotate overhead, I begin to rotate. The timing of this is really important. So you notice we're both facing in this direction, and then she continues to turn. As soon as that clears her head, I'm bringing the hand down. I take a step with my right foot. I place that hand on my rib cage, and then we continue turning as I slip that leg through. So the timing is super, super important here. Now I'm gonna create a shelf with my left thigh. It's basically she's going to be supporting herself with her arm around my back and on the shelf that I create.
It's not a bed to lay down on.
Yeah, okay, she's not doing pull-ups, but she is going to be holding on for dear life around my waist, okay? So if you watch this, the timing is super important. I suggest you guys try this super, super slow. But as we're turning her in, now we're both facing the same direction. That hand's gonna continue to go. I place it on the rib cage, and notice we are both on the same foot. We're both on our right foot. She's gonna begin the dip as I take that weight off of that left foot and I slip it through. Now, if you look at that leg, she is basically resting on that left thigh. So I need to show you that footwork a little bit so you can actually get a feel for how that works with the connection. All right, let's talk about this footwork a little bit. She is turning in. We are now both on our left foot. We're both on our right foot. Now I'm gonna keep my weight on that right foot while I take my left foot and slide it through. And then as she goes down, I'm gonna support my own weight onto that left foot. So if we pay attention to the footwork, she's gonna be turning as I'm standing in place. But as she gets on the left foot, we're both gonna be on our left foot. We're both gonna be on our right foot, kind of at the same time. Now she takes no more steps, all right? So she's on her right foot. She's now gonna dip from that right foot as I take that one last step to get into that position. Guys, we have to be clear here. Her weight is going to be supported really primarily in two places. It's going to be on her leg and on that arm that wraps around him. It is not going to be supported so much on the leg, but the thing that she's got to do is she has to pull, just like the last thing that we did, she has to pull her hips upward. Okay?
As high as you can.
Gravity's pulling her this way,
yes.
All right? If you let gravity pull you that way, you're gonna land on the floor. Everything is going down and she's leaning down, everything is pulling that way, but you do have to pull your hips outwards. Now the arm that she wraps around him and the leg that's on the floor, that's where the weight is. The leg that I put out there in that lunge position is simply a safety net. You can have a little bit of weight on it, but that's not where the primary weight is going to be. So if you watch this, the placement of the hand is super important. She gets into that position. Now there's going to be contact, and I'm basically going to be rotating with that contact. Now, she's got to pull her hips upwards, and all of her weight's going to be on that leg with her hips being pulled upwards. There's little to no weight landing on that leg, but it is just a little bit of safety net, okay? Now, we've got to talk about the arms and everything that goes into this to make this look cool. Now, with her head, she needs to be leaning back. Now, as well with any dip that you do, if she does a dip and she's still looking at him, that doesn't have much of a good look to it. But if we're in that same position and she leans her head back, it looks like so much more. That is part of the illusion. So ladies, you've got to let your head lean back to give it more of that laid out look, okay? So same way before, you let the head go back. That doesn't mean you lean back farther, it just looks that way. Now with his arms, you want to make it obvious that he doesn't have her arms. So if you put him down your side, they can't see that. They assume that you're still holding her. So you've got to hold him a little bit out to the side so at least people can actually see you're not holding her now, okay? So you don't have to go this far, but when I do that, a lot of times I'll actually take the hands, I'll place them here, and I'll actually throw them out to show that the arms are actually not connected, okay? You don't actually have to do it that much. Voila, right? But for the most part, you want them to actually see that you're not actually holding her with your arms. So that is actually the coolest part of the pattern. It's like, wow, I want to do that. I think that's why we got so many requests to be teaching this one, right? So we bring her in, we place the hand on the rib cage. Now we're both on the right foot. He slips that leg through. You throw the arms into that position so you show you're not holding her, and be a nice guy, like help her come up if you need to, right? But for the most part, a lot of the weight is gonna come up because you're lifting your own body from your left foot to your right foot, but it actually is a nice thing to do to actually put your hand behind her and lead that through, okay? So we're gonna demonstrate this in a couple different ways, and then we'll move on to the next trick.
I will stand by you forever. I can't get you out of my mind.
All right, guys, we've got another cool trick to teach you guys. This one you've probably seen a bunch. It's really, really popular. You can use it in all the different dances. We're gonna demonstrate it and then we'll break it down. Very, very, very simple. Looks really, really cool. Just looks a little something like that. And then I bring her up. There's a bunch of different ways to do this. You can use it again in any different dances, but it's really, really simple. It's not complicated, but we're gonna break it down step by step. All right, guys, the first thing to know is we have to use some opposition here, which basically means her energy has got to be moving away from me before I can bring her towards me, okay? So one way that we chose, there's a bunch of different ways you can start this, but if I have my right hand connected to her right hand like this, she's got weight moving away from me, and I use that weight to bring her towards me, okay? So any pattern that you can use in any dance that gets her weight moving away from me so that I can bring her towards me and catch. All right, now my left arm is what's gonna go under her arm. I'm not a big fan of holding with the hand. I wanna create a shell, yeah, and her arms and her skin on her arms, totally appreciate that a lot. But you don't wanna actually grab and use the hand, okay? So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a shelf with my arm. Let me show you that close up. So guys, as I place my left arm underneath, I'm using my forearm pretty close to the wrist, and I'm putting it pretty close to her body. I don't wanna be holding with the hand and squeezing and pinching her underarm, right? So what I wanna do is place my arm underneath. Now that hand looks kind of hideous at this point, so all I'm gonna do is basically curve it. If I can get it close enough, I can wrap the arm underneath without having the hand just creating a shell, but really the weight sits on the wrist, and I want that really, really underneath her arm. All right, guys, so our weight is away from each other. Her weight is on her left, my weight is on my right. And what I'm gonna do is we're both gonna be traveling towards each other. As we bring her towards us, I'm gonna place that left hand underneath. I'm coming towards her, and then I'm gonna back up again to where I'm moving away from her to get into this lunge type position. Now, there's a couple different ways that she can use her leg. The way that we normally do this is her weight's gonna be on her right foot, but her left leg crosses over top. So if you watch what she does, her weight comes onto her right foot, but what happens from here, she takes that left leg and crosses it over top, and that's gonna give her some amount of stability to where her weight can actually go onto that left foot a little bit. Now, as another option, she can actually keep the weight onto her right foot, and it actually goes down into her hip just a little bit, where she keeps that leg up. So now her hip is going to drop and the weight goes a little bit more on him. Now, either way that you try to do this is totally personal style. There's no right or wrong way to do that, okay? Let me show you that footwork a couple different ways. All right, so with the feet, I've got to give her this path. I can't be up here and then expect her to dip into that space. So I've got to be slightly behind her so that she has this space to move through. So all I'm going to be doing is actually bringing her towards me, and I'm going to be shifting my weight to the right foot. But as I do, her weight goes onto her right, and then she's gonna cross that left leg over top so that that weight can actually go down onto that left foot. Now, if we did that the opposite way, where she keeps that leg up, there's gonna be a little bit more weight into her hip, so that when I bring her down, she keeps that foot up, but now she's gonna lower the hip just a little bit to support that weight. Guys, we're gonna demonstrate this a couple different ways from a couple different dances, but before we do, the first thing that we've gotta know is there has to be that opposition. So regardless of what you're doing before that, we have to get into a position where we have leverage, so there's momentum moving away so that there's momentum going towards. We can do this on either side, by the way. So it doesn't matter, like we've shown you from the other way, but if she was on this side, it would just be the same thing, just go in the opposite direction, okay? So let me demonstrate this a couple different ways to a couple different dances.
And I promise that I will stand by you forever. I can't get you out of my mind.
Guys, again, thanks so much for watching and for supporting the channel. Do us a favor right now. Go to xdance.com, check that out. We want to give you guys a couple weeks free of this new thing that we're working on. It's going to completely change everything. We want to know what you guys think. So just go to xdance.com and then we'll see you guys next time. Breathe in between the smiling.
We're here to teach you how to practice safe dipping. That's the time when it's so hard, because I'm like,
The best way to be safe during dips is abstinence.
Are we actually doing this?
I'm just walking you through what we're doing.
I'll follow